Hi, I'm Phil, and today we're going to have a look at another recent release from M5Stack, the AtomS3. And just walking through this mind map, we'll have a look at it. So the unit itself is, has a lot of properties. It's a tiny unit. It's the baby brother of the Core S3. And it's using the ESP32S3. And on board, you've got two buttons. There's also a LCD, a tiny LCD, which comes in handy for giving some notification of your sensor results. And there are 6 GPIO pins. And I'll be using those with a GPIO extender shortly. So you can see all the devices. It also has a RGB LED, and that's as a transmitter. And the cost is $15.50. And the applications you'd use this for IoT as a microcontroller. And it's small enough that you can use it as a wearable device, perhaps as a small watch, but you'd have to add a battery to that. And looking at the hardware features, you can see it from all different angles on this photo. And we've got a system diagram. So this allows you to identify the pins and program them. So in addition to the pins on the bottom, there's also a Grove connection. And we just have a look at the software. Software-wise, we've got UIFlow and the Arduino. And having a look at my first project, I've again done traffic lights, this time with a difference. So here are the traffic lights on my desktop. So you can see on the right there, I've got the Atom sitting on a base, and the base allows me to extend the number of traffic signals. So I've got traffic signals on the LCD of the AtomS3, and also to the left of that, I've got RGB traffic signals. So each unit has 3 traffic signals, and they're wired up in a daisy chain. So I could extend with more, either on the daisy chain, or I could use the base and use the port B on the base for a additional RGB set of traffic lights. So my overall objective is that I want to test the AtomS3 to see what it's like. Also, I want to get a hang of the new UIFlow software and test the Atom port ABC, which is a base to the AtomS3. So my design is similar to the previous one. I'm going to use the internal LCD, but this time I'm going to do a countdown timer during the green phase. And I'm going to use 2 external RGB units. And the timing actually will change. I'm going to use the green for the main phase, will be 10 seconds, and it will count down. For hardware, I'm using the AtomS3. I'm also using a unit from M5Stack, the RGB unit, and I'm using 2 of those with 2 Grove cables. And the AtomS3 goes on the base, the extension base. And for software, you can see the UIFlow. I'm using version 2 of that with the resources identified and triggered. And there's my software. So we'll have a look at that in a minute. And the execution of that went quite well with good results. So let's have a look and see how it went. So we'll go to our Chrome browser. And here you can see that the UIFlow version 2 is the program for the traffic signals is here on the screen. And on the left, I'm painting the scenario of the traffic lights. In the text area here, we're going to use that area and size it up to a size 6 so that it becomes a countdown timer. But we'll also keep a circle going for our traffic signals. And software-wise, we're using the timer, and on the hardware, we're using the pins and the display. And for units, you can see that I'm using the RGB unit. So there's only one of those used here at the moment. Setting up, I initialize the RGB unit and the inbuilt hardware, and I'm setting the label to a size 6, rotating the screen at 180 degrees, and I'm setting the background to a black to turn it off. And the loop is quite simple. I'm also updating the hardware, and I'm then carrying out the functions of north. So the traffic lights here have actually got two phases. So we've also got the aspects of north and east-west. So you can see when we're in the north in red, east-west will be green. So we have to use a setting for the 6 phases of the lights, and we're also setting the circle on the AtomS3 LCD. So we've got north red, north green, and north orange. And you'll notice when it's in north green that we have a countdown timer. So this shows the value of the index, and then waits for a second and moves down by counting down. And we might just have a quick look. Before you do all this, you also have to set up the firmware in your Atom. So the way you do that is to download the program, install it. It's the M5 burner, and this helps load your program onto the Atom. So I'm using, well, at the moment I've actually got Alpha 16, but overnight they've released Alpha 16, and I'm using Alpha 15. So if you want to download it, you download it. It's downloading at the moment. So there's been a few extra features, and when you're ready to go, you can then burn the new one onto the AtomS3. So I might actually burn that at the moment. So I'm going to burn that, and the port should be port 20. So we'll just start and see what happens there. Okay, so I really have to do a reboot to make that happen. So we'll leave it at that for the time being, but I'll just show you the final references, and they're over here. So if you're interested in the program, go over on the hardware, go over to M5Stack, and that's all for me for the time being. Here we have the AtomS3, and it has a 2 units connected to it, RGB units, and also the base unit for, or the base for the AtomS3. And the base gives us an extra 3 growth ports And at the moment we've got this configured as a set of traffic lights with a countdown timer. So the countdown timer is using the small LCD on the AtomS3.